students, welcome to the next session of Social Studies. Lesson number 6, the coastal plains and the islands. So let's start the chapter. Now in the coastal area, that is we have two areas. We have the western coastal line and the eastern coastal lines. Next, in the western coastal lines, we have the Gujarat area, then we have the Konkan area, and then we have the Malabar coast. Under this coast, we have the states which lies are Maharashtra, Goa, and then the islands. We have two islands, that is Andaman and Nicobar islands, and then on the west we have the Lakshadweep island. So let's start the chapter. Now there is a warm-up session. On a political map of India, mark the states that have a sea line running along their borders. Make a list in the space provided. So you have to go through a political map of India, and then you have to mark the states which are coming in the sea line of the coastal area, the coastal borders. Then you have to write the names of those places. Now in this chapter we are going to learn about coast and islands, then the western and eastern coastal plains of India, and Andaman and Nicobar islands and Lakshadweep islands. So our first topic is coastal plains. A coastal plain is an area of flat, low-lying and adjoining or near the sea. The coastal line of India stretches around the Indian peninsula and is divided into the western coastal plains along the west coast and the eastern coastal plains along the east coast. It runs for about 6,000 km inland and its width is about 120 km in the eastern coastal plains and 65 km in the western coastal plains. Kanyakumari is the meeting point of both these plains. So let's have a look on the map. So the coastal areas are from the state of Gujarat. This is the coastal boundary. Here we have the western coastal plains, and then on the east we have the eastern coastal plains. On the western coastal plains we have the Malabar coast, then also we have the Konkan, then we have the Gujarat coast. This is the Gujarat coast. Okay. Now when we are coming to the eastern side, this is the eastern coastal area here. We have the northern Kirghiz, and then we have also the Coromandel coast. Here lies the Coromandel coast. Okay. Coromandel coast. Next, Kanyakumari is a meeting point of these plains. Kanyakumari here, the end of the southern part, Kanyakumari. So this, the two meeting points of the coastal plains comes and ends in Kanyakumari. Understood? Next, let's know more about the western coastal plains. The western coastal plains extend from the Gujarat coast in the northwest to the Kerala coast in the south. The plains lie between the Arabian Sea and the Western Ghats. The western coastal plains are divided into three parts: the Gujarat coast, the Konkan coast and the Malabar coast. They cover the states of Gujarat, western parts of Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka and Kerala. This is the western coastal Gujarat coast. Then here comes the Konkan area, which stretches from Mumbai to Goa. And then we have the Malabar coast, which stretches till Karnataka, or we can say till Kerala. Then the states which lies in this coastal areas are Kerala, Karnataka, then Maharashtra, Goa, Gujarat. Okay. Here you can see this line. Then these coastal plains are narrow. Narrow means very small. rocky and rugged in nature. The Gujarat coast is broadest between the Gulf of Kutch and Gulf of Kambat in Gujarat. The Konkan coast, south of the Gujarat coast, has a coastline which is narrow, rocky, uneven, and indented, and thus it is ideal for establishing harbors and ports. Kandla in Gujarat, Jawaharlal Nehru Port, or Nhava Sheva in Mumbai, Marmagao in Goa, and Kochi in Kerala are some of its important ports. Ports means where the goods are being loaded and unloaded, and it is loaded on ship as well as it is unloaded from the ships. Jawaharlal Nehru Port is the biggest commercial port of India. So, which is the biggest port in India? It is Jawaharlal Nehru Port. Now, coming to the climate and vegetations in the coastal area. The western coastal plains experience a hot and humid climate throughout the year and receive heavy downpour from the summer monsoon. Rice, coconut, cashew nut, tobacco and groundnut are cultivated here because of the moisture-rich conditions. So in this coastal area, we have hot and humid climate, and we also experience monsoon. And monsoon starts from the month of June and ends till September. Because the climate is so good and rich in moisture, so the crops which are grown in this coastal area are rice, coconut, cashew nut, tobacco and groundnut. Apart from farming, fishing is a major occupation of people living in this area. So the areas which comes under the coastal area, so it is famous for fishing. Fishing is a major occupation in this coastal area. Some of the most popular and beautiful beaches of the country are found along this coastal plains. Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Panaji, Kozhikode and Thiruvananthapuram are some of the important cities along the coast. The backwaters. The backwaters or lagoons are the most distinguishing features of these coastal lines. They mark the Malabar coast. And where is the Malabar coast? It is here. The Malabar coast. So we can find the backwater in the Malabar coast. And Malabar coast is in Kerala that lies south of the Konkan coast. Apart from being a major tourist attraction, they are also used for the fishing and navigation purposes. Kochi is an important port of the Malabar coast. Now, we finished about western coastal plains. Now we are on eastern coastal plains. The eastern coastal plains extend from West Bengal coast in the east to the Tamil Nadu coast in the south. They are lined between the eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal. These plains are divided into two parts, the northern circus in the north and the Coromandel coast in the south. These plains are bordered than the western coastal plains. These plains move across the states of West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. The sea waves here are stronger and bigger than those on the western coast. Due to its shallow coast, it lacks good harbors but forms well-developed deltas. Chennai and Visakhapatnam are the two of its largest ports. So in the eastern coastal plains, we have Chennai and Visakhapatnam as the largest ports. Then these eastern coastal plains are divided into two, that is on northern circus and on the Coromandel. So northern circus and the Coromandel, it is divided into two. Then we know that the north coastal plains which comes under the states of West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh. West Bengal, it is here. Then comes the Orissa. After that, then the states we have West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Next comes, we'll talk about the climate and vegetation. How is the climate in the eastern coastal plains? The eastern coastal plains experience a hot and humid climate. The northern part of these plains receive monsoon rains while the southern part receives rainfall during the winter season. So in the northern part during the monsoon, these parts they have rainy season, while in the winter season the southern part it receives rainfall. The monsoon starts there from the month of November. Southern parts like Kerala, then we have Karnataka. So those places, those states, they receive their monsoon starts from the month of November. The rivers draining the eastern coastal plains deposit slit and hence make the soil rich in alluvium. The fertile soil coupled with heavy rainfall in this region allows extensive rich cultivation here. Sugarcane, coconut and rubber are the other crops grown in this region. Now we have an activity. Fill in the blanks to complete the comparative study on the eastern coastal plains and western coastal plains. So there is a differentiate comparative between the western and the eastern coastal plains. Number 1. These plains lie between the Arabian Sea and the Western Ghats. So the western coastal plains lies in the Arabian Sea and also in the Western Ghats. These plains lie between the Bay of Bengal and the Eastern Ghats. So the eastern coastal plains lie in the Bay of Bengal, then also on the Eastern Ghats. The western coastal plains extend from the Gujarat coast in the northwest to the Kerala coast in the south. So the western coastal plains it extends from Gujarat and ends in Kerala. The eastern coastal plains extend from West Bengal coast in the east to the Kerala coast in the south. The eastern coastal plain it starts from West Bengal and also it ends in Kerala. These coastal plains are narrow, rocky and rugged in nature. This coast is broader than the western coastal plains. The western coastal plains are divided into three parts: the Gujarat, the Konkan coast and the Malabar coast. The Gujarat coast, the Konkan coast and the Malabar coast. The eastern coastal plains are divided into two parts: the northern circus in the north and the Coromandel coast in the south. The western coastal plains run along the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka and Kerala. The eastern coastal plains cover parts of West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Fishing and farming are the two main occupations. The seaside towns are popular tourist destination. Ports are used for both inland and foreign trade. Now our next topic is on islands. We have two islands, Andaman and Nicobar Islands and then Lakshadweep Islands. An island is a piece of land surrounded by water on all sides. Very small islands are known as atolls, cays or islets. There are two main island groups in India: the Andaman and Nicobar Island in the Bay of Bengal and the Lakshadweep Island in the Arabian Sea. So we have two islands, Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal, Lakshadweep Island in the Arabian Sea. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands include over 500 islands in the Bay of Bengal. So Andaman and Nicobar Island has 500 small islands that cover an area of more than 8,000 square kilometers. These islands have divided into two groups, the northern group called the Andaman Islands and the southern groups called the Nicobar Islands. So these Andaman and Nicobar Islands are divided into two groups. The northern groups, The island which are in the north side, it is known as the Andaman Islands, and the islands which are in the southern part, it is known as the Nicobar Islands. Separated by the 10-degree channel which lies on the 10-degree line of latitude north of the equator with a width of 150 km. The capital is Port Blair. So Andaman, what is the capital of Andaman and Nicobar Island? It is a Port Blair. Here it is, Port Blair, the capital of Andaman and Nicobar Island. It is believed that these islands are the topmost parts of a submerged mountain range. These islands are covered with dense forest. Only a few of these islands are inhabited, some of which have tribes living in them even today. The barren island, India's only active volcano, is located in East Andamans. Indira Point, the southernmost tip of India, is located in the Nicobar Islands. Indira Point. Where is Indira Point? It is here, on the southern part of the Nicobar Island. Small scale agriculture is practiced on these islands. Farming and fishing are two main occupations, along with some shell and wooden handicrafts work done by the locals. Rice, coconut, fruits and vegetables are cultivated here. Now, how is the climate in Andaman and Nicobar Island? The climate is warm but pleasant in these islands. It rains for about 7 to 8 months in a year. So 7 to 8 months these islands receives rainfall. Now the next island is Lakshadweep Island, and Lakshadweep Island lies in the Arabian Sea. Lakshadweep is the smallest union territory of our country with its capital as Kavaratti. It is a group of over 30 islands in the Arabian Sea. We saw that Andaman and Nicobar Islands has almost 500 small islands which lie in the Bay of Bengal. But Lakshadweep Island has only 30 islands in the Arabian Sea that cover an area of 32 square kilometer. Only a few islands out of this are inhabited. The Androt and Minikoi are the largest and second largest islands of Lakshadweep respectively. Since these islands are very small and formed of coral, they are also known as atolls. So, Bangaram Island, it is in Lakshadweep. This islands group is composed of coral. Now what is coral? The hard and differently colored skeletons of certain marine animals. Most of the people here rely on agriculture for a living. Coconut is a main crop cultivated here. Rice, bananas and vegetables are also grown in these islands. Fishing is one of the main activities of the people living here. Another strong industry in these islands is tourism. Now, about the climate of Lakshadweep. The climate here is warm. It rains heavily during the rainy season. In winter, the days are warm, while the nights are pleasant. One does not feel the heat due to the cool sea breeze blowing through the islands. So this was about the islands. Now let's have a look on the exercises. Filling the blanks. Flat, low-lying land adjacent to a water body is called a coastal plains. Port Blair and Kavaratti are the capital cities of Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Lakshadweep Islands respectively. Kanyakumari is the meeting point of coastal plains in India. The western coast is broadest at the Gujarat coast. The western coastal plain is narrow, rocky and rugged in nature. Next, we have named the following. The point where western and eastern coastal plains meet is known as Kanyakumari. The biggest commercial port of India is Jawaharlal Nehru Port. The island with an active volcano in India is Barren Island. The separation between Andaman Islands and Nicobar Islands, 10-degree channel. The island group composed of coral, that is on Lakshadweep. Now match the two columns. Kandla Port, where is the Kandla Port? It is in Gujarat. Winter rainfall, where does winter rainfall occurs? It occurs in the southern part of eastern coastal plains, means in Kerala region. Eastern coastal plains, very rich in alluvium. Andaman and Nicobar Islands, barren island. Lakshadweep Islands, coral deposits. Now, I hope so you must have understood the chapter. We'll meet in the next session. Till then, take care and thank you.